I'm in Griffith, New South Wales, which is part of the Riverina. This is Australia's food bowl, and this is where some of the best ingredients in the world comes from. I'm in the Dell family farm, and they are farming royalty. They've been here for over 105 years. They grow prunes, they grow citrus fruit, and they grow grapes for wine, which is some of the best wine in the world. Now, what I've got here are some prunes. Now, on the farm here, these prunes are dried like this, and they're a little bit dry to eat, but when you buy them, they're already hydrated. Now, what we did is we left them out in the rain. No, we didn't leave them out in the rain. What we did is we put them into a pot of boiling water and turned it off. And when it cooled down, the prunes are nice and hydrated like this. They are beautiful, nice and sweet, but not too sweet, but sweet enough to go with my duck. Now, what I'm going to do with the duck breast, I'm going to score the outside of it, just along the fat here like this. What we want to do is help the duck render down. Now, my pan is on really hot there, and what I'm going to do is add plenty of salt to my duck. Salt loves meat, meat loves salt, and duck loves salt particularly. There we go, some extra virgin olive oil into a hot pan. And this pan is really, really hot because I want it to be really hot to render down the fat. In it goes. It's a good idea to put the breast down first, because what you want is the breast to render down and all the fat to come out of it. And not only will the fat come out of it, it'll become nice and golden and nice and crisp as well. So what I'll do is I'll let this cook for about 8 minutes in total, and then I'll pop the duck breasts onto the plate here and let them rest, which is really important. You want to rest the duck breast for about half the cooking time, which is about 4 or 5 minutes, and that will give me plenty of time to make my beautiful prune sauce. With my asparagus that I got from around the corner here, and the peas from Alan, who gave me his peas from his garden, and some fennel, and of course I'm going to put it all together with some orange juice that's grown just over there, about 20 feet. Now, my duck's cooked to a nice medium rare, and you can see it's shrunk quite a bit. Now, what I want to do is let the duck breast rest nicely so all the juices, when I do cut into it, stay into the meat where they belong. Now, all the fat that's in here, I'm not going to waste. What I'm going to do is put the combination of fat and olive oil into a bowl over here, and I'll come up with a really nice dish later on that I can use. Now, all the little bits of crunchy bits in here, that's where the flavour comes from. That's going to taste like duck, and even better, duck fat. Now, what I'm going to do is add some prunes, and you would normally think prunes are something you put on your yogurt in the morning. Well, prunes are really versatile. Not only can you use them for just about any sweet thing, you can also use it for a lot of savoury things, and I'm going to use it to make a lovely savoury sauce. A nice handful of prunes in here to go with the duck are going to be delicious. Now, into the pan, I'm also going to add some brandy, and we're going to flambe it or get some, there we go, get some flame coming up the side. If you really want to be fancy, you can put the flame on the side there. There we go. And off we go. We want to burn off all the alcohol because that's the bitter part of it. I'm also going to add some orange juice in there. Now, this orange juice came from the tree just over there, and they tell me that that is the tree that produces the sweetest oranges in the whole farm. I'm just going to swirl that around a little bit. What's going to happen is the flavour of the brandy and the orange juice are going to come together into the pan. Now, I'm going to add a splash of white wine because it's local white wine, and this episode is all about local produce. Now, into here, I'm going to put some herbs. And I've got some fresh thyme. With the thyme, I'm just going to tear it up like this and throw it straight into the pan here. Now, the asparagus grows wild here. About 100 years ago, when the farmers first settled here, they planted asparagus, and the asparagus grows in all these little spots all over Griffith. Now, apparently families know where their own little spots are, and they keep those secrets to themselves. The peas are also fantastic. Alan gave me 2 of these. He's an 87-year-old farmer. He lives just over there, and he gave me a handful of peas to put in here. In go the peas, and I'm going to make the sauce and the veggies all come together like that. And you can see as soon as the green vegetables hit the pan, they start to turn a bright green, and I want them nice and soft. Now, some butter. Butter is one of my favourite things because butter is what brings everything together. And I'm just going to put a couple of tiny pieces of butter into the pan and let them stir around like that. The butter will melt and thicken up this lovely sauce. While it's doing that, I'll add a little bit of sharpness, a tiny bit of sherry vinegar in there, about half a teaspoon, and some chives go in there as well. Sprinkle that around. Now, all I need to do is stir this around for about a minute or so until the sauce comes together, and then I'll carve the duck and put it on a plate and have a taste. always good to taste as you're cooking. I can taste the prunes in there. I can taste the orange juice. I can taste the asparagus as well because it's got a beautiful flavour. Now the duck breast is rested for about 4 minutes or so. And what I'm going to do is take one of the breasts off here and I'm just going to give it a bit of a carve all the way through. And it's cooked beautifully, a nice medium rare. What I'll do is put my knife underneath it like that, pop it onto the plate. Now if you want to get nice and fancy, you just sort of spread it out like that so it looks nice and pretty. And a little bit of salt on there because we know duck loves salt. Now, what I'm going to do is put some of the prunes, asparagus, and the peas on the side there with some of that sauce. Look at that, looks delicious. And run a little bit of the sauce around the outside, and you can see all those lovely herbs in there. And of course, some of the lovely fennel. This was picked by the side of the road. I made sure I washed it. That sits over the top there like that. And that is a great looking duck dish. Now, what I have to do is have a little taste of that because you don't know what it's like until you put it all together. A little piece of duck, a little piece of the prune. I'll make sure I get some of the sauce in there. That is really delicious. The duck is tender, it's moist, it's juicy. With the prune, it really picks it up, gives it that sweetness and a bit of texture as well, but not too sweet. It's just perfect. And I've got some asparagus in there and some peas. It's a beautiful dish. And the acidity of the orange, which is just that little bit sweeter than a lemon. Delicious. And of course, some good wine to wash it all down. Perfect dish in the perfect place.